meeting like BRICS have always attracted attention of the question setter of UPSC. And BRICS, when it came with lots of expectation. People said, like, I mean, G7 was past and BRICS is future. It has been around for some time, and then it has got lots of issues associated with it. And the recent meet has again brought it into the limelight. There are lots of articles you must have read, lots of issues that are being talked about in the journals, which are having, and then talks are going on. I am fortunate to have spoken to or requested Ambassador Mahesh sir for giving his insights, because he is one person who not only knows as a career foreign service officer, but also has developed his insights because of his academic interest. You've seen his articles regularly in various sources in Hindu, in NDTV, and then also on channels and Hindustan Times. He has been writing regularly on these issues. Today, I have requested him to give us some idea about the current meeting, but then I am not taking this as a reporting on this, but rather I would like to get some insights which students preparing for civil service examination, and especially those who are going for interview and then planning to write mains, they get some deeper analysis from none other Ambassador Mahesh sir, who has his very deep understanding, and I'm always impressed and feel so thankful that he takes time off for us and then is ready to talk about it. I think, sir, thank you very much for your time. And I would like to first start by asking you, how do we see the background in which the BRICS emerged, and if you can give us some insights about for better understanding of the present BRICS meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. It's always a pleasure to meet your KSG group and its ever expanding community of inquisitive people who are willing to learn and have a finger in every pie of the international relations and elsewhere. Uh, Welcome. Uh, as far as is concerned, the word was coined by a Goldman Sachs economist, Jim O'Neill, in an article in 2009. And BRIC, the original version of this name, was acronym using 4 different countries, which he thought are going to be increasingly more important to the world economy. These were B for Brazil, R for Russia, I for India, C for China. Subsequently, the leaders of these 4 countries first met informally on the sidelines of United Nations General Assembly in 2009, the year the word was coined, and they found it to be worthwhile. The commonalities they had, the challenges they faced, they thought that it will be a good idea to have actually an international organization comprising of these 4 countries. So the first summit of BRIC countries was held in Siberian city of Yekaterinburg, I think, in 2010. And every year since then, they've had a summit, and 16th summit of BRIC, original BRIC, but now BRICS, with South Africa having joined next year, 2011, uh, was held in Kazan, in a Volga coastal city in Russia. Last week, you and your students have naturally seen that Prime Minister traveled to this summit, and we had nearly 20 other heads of states attending that summit. Now, first thing first, uh, last year at the summit in South Africa, a decision was taken to expand the BRICS to incorporate few new members, out of which six such members were selected, out of which Argentina has declined to become a member, and South Africa has not given a yes reply. It is still considering the membership. But other four countries, namely Iran, UAE, Egypt, and Ethiopia, have joined, and they were there as full members for the first time. So, uh, BRICS group now has nine members, and there are about 30 countries, including Turkey, who are knocking at the door. There are also partner countries, there were guest countries, and so on, which attended Kazan summit. And Kazan summit uh, showcased BRICS growth in numbers, uh, very impressive. Uh, as President Putin in curtain raiser before the summit said, that BRICS now are going to drive the economic growth of the world more than the OECD countries. And he pointed out that 45% of world's population and 35% of its economy was uh, from the BRICS countries. The global economy, global population as a ratio was that high. As such, it is probably the biggest uh, national, international regrouping which is beyond the United Nations and World Bank, etc. So I hesitate to call it a regional grouping because Brazil and South Africa and even the new four countries are not part of Eurasia mass, which initially existed as the core of Russia, China, as an underpinning of BRICS. Uh, Now, coming to a bit of analysis about what BRICS have been able to achieve is something that we would discuss in the next part.
All right. I was actually coming to that only. I mean, it's not. It's been a kind of mixed bag. The kind of fanfare or all those fairy tales we heard about it when it was conceived. Probably it has taken the taste of reality, and then it is not getting to the place where it was initially conceived to be. I would like to hear out. I mean, thank you for the factual things that you have given, and based on that, a lot of expectations can be made. But I would like you to identify where you think that they have actually made achievement and where they have actually lost out. I'm asking it from the perspective of the past. And then probably I would request you to give some more of the present and then we talk about the future. But from the past analysis that you can make about BRICS in its existence, how do you rate its the positives and negatives, so to say?
That's a very interesting question, and I think your aspirant members would be interested in fishing for questions that may arise out of it. One has to be realistic in this analysis. 16 years is not a long time in the life of any international entity. G7 has been around for much longer. OECD, World Bank, etc., are part of post Second World War legacy, and they've had time to coalesce around their thinking. So it's be slightly fallacious to say that BRICS is the counterpart or antidote of G7. G7 is a different kind of body. It was deliberately structured to put Western economies together, basically on economic issues, while BRICS is a bit of stillborn body coming out of a fanciful thinking and an acronym posed by an economist. And then people combined and found, try to look for raison d'etre or reason for existence of BRICS. And that's not uh, automatic uh, to find such reasons just because some acronomists have found a buzzword. Uh, be it as it may, uh, BRICS has attracted public attention as it has been a body of equals. It does not, it's not prescriptive. There are all sort of countries from oil producers like Russia, UAE, Iran, to consumers like China and India. There are commodity exporters, there are industrialized goods exporters, and there are rest of them. So there's no uniqueness or USP to the to a let's say a nominal BRICS country. You don't have to have a particular feature of economy or political system to belong to BRICS. So it's a bit nebulous. It's still trying to find commonalities, but there is some belief that the countries who have some sense of unease at the current world order formed after the Second World War uh, have joined together to press for changes in the global political and economic architecture. And those countries are naturally attracted to BRICS kind of body, which excludes Western countries as of now, and therefore becomes a counterpole to uh, the G7s and OECDs and IEAs and so on. So this is where a dichotomy lies. The global financial and economic and to some extent political architecture is quite deep seated after 7.5 decades of its existence. It has taken care of having something for everyone. So its replacement is neither easy nor nor sort of given to satisfy everyone. So the BRICS has made some headway in forming a common bank, new development bank of uh, a new international development bank based in China. Uh, Similarly, there are other devices, other areas from cybersecurity to environmental pollution that BRICS has been trying to promote through its members. But the work is still in progress. And as I mentioned earlier, the commonality is of opinion on all these issues is not sui generis. They're not original, and it has to come after discussions. Trade barriers continue, trade disputes continue, political disputes, for example, between India and China continue, and there are many other issues where the opinions are quite divided. Uh, you have flashpoints such as Ukraine war, and Middle East conflict, which divide the countries. They also have differences on various issues of economic nature. Russia and China, for example, would like alternate base currency to replace dollar. India would finds it that it's not a perfectly good
Very
idea.
comfortable, yes.
Yes, we are not comfortable with it. Similarly, the role of the bank or financial architecture, uh, people are, some of us, including India, have some reservations that China, because nearly half of BRICS economic strength would come from that country, would use BRICS to foster its own Belt and Road Initiative, for example. Uh, and they have some serious reservations about it. Uh, so challenges exist, and meeting these challenges is going to preoccupy BRICS for quite some time. Uh, Therefore, India has had some reservations about wanton expansion of BRICS at this stage, where uh, its uh, its direction and cohesiveness could come unstuck. Let me go back to Kazan summit. It published a 43-page final communique on which all 9 BRICS countries agreed. And since the summit was in Russia, observers were very keen to figure out what has it got to say on Ukraine-Russia conflict, which has been devastating that part of world for over 2 years now. There was only one sentence in those 43-page long document saying that the members appreciated the work of the mediators who were trying to bring this conflict to a resolution through diplomacy, and it reiterated that international law, including United Nations Charter, should be followed. Now, does it show unity? Does it show direction? Even on Middle East, it took a stridently anti-Israel line, and it is unlikely to pass any benchmark when it comes to bringing the conflict raging in Gaza, Lebanon, and now Iran to any closer to uh, conclusion. Uh, Similar uh, sort of uh, expansive phraseology was used on other things, and it remains to be seen whether the reality checks have been made to figure out if these uh, if BRICS has uh, perhaps a tenuous uh, common position, but whether that common position was realistic and constructive to the situations, or was just uh, uh, externalizing the issues on the doors of the Western countries uh, for blaming them for causing the problem and exacerbating them. So that is where I think the BRICS would need to focus in future to figure out what can it do for its members in particular and the world community in general, so that
So
it
what I
doesn't
can
become a talking
see,
shop.
yeah, what I can basically see, I mean, there are certain a prioris, and then there's certain probably axiomatic fulfillments are required before you can make an edifice of an organization or this like that. There's so much of fissures, maybe not visible on the surface, but they are deep crevasses they have got.